much for joining me. Got several things to talk about. One about a radiation warning. Israel is on the verge of destroying more than 10 Iranian nuclear sites. Israel is censoring a lot of information. They want to keep their population, in high spirits. We know that Trump will probably, within the next few days, join the fight with Iran. Originally, they were using older types of missiles and drones, but now it seems like they're using Sigil missiles at Israel for the first time in history, and they can go 2,000 kilometers. Watching the videos, they're fast, almost like supersonic. I don't know if they are or not. Maybe you know. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps confirmed today that it had launched Sigil medium-range ballistic missiles with a range of up to 2,000 kilometers. And I think that's about 1,300 miles, and they got more accuracy than their older ones. I think they're, my own opinion, I think they were using the older missiles to test Israel's defense systems. This marks a serious escalation in the ongoing tit-for-tat conflict between the two nations. The solid-fuel two-stage Sigil, first tested in 2008, is highly maneuverable and difficult to intercept, strengthening Iran's strategic posture. A spokesman for the IRGC confirmed that 3 Sigils, each boasting a range of between 2,000 and 2,500 kilometers, with speeds of Mach 13, and a warhead capable up to 700 kilograms, were launched deep into Israel territory. This image was posted on X of the Sigil missile, I believe, being fired. I wonder if it was the one that devastated several blocks. I don't know. There are several images on X. Here's one, and another, and another. And I assume this is an image of that missile. Let me bring it down so you can see it better. They claim, too, that if launched from the Tans, it can reach Tel Aviv within 7 minutes. Israeli news media said it was intercepted and that it did little damage, but when I seen it coming in, it didn't look like it was intercepted to me. Now see the other slower flying missiles, and then this one comes in so fast. Watch. Boom. Yeah. Here we have another video. I got it paused. This is in Haifa. Let me pull this forward so you can see it. This thing is so fast. See the tail that it leaves? Yeah. Evidently, in this strike, there was, I believe, 34 people injured. I'm going to play it again, and you're going to see that. Hear the blast. Yeah, this was Haifa. Now, they're claiming that they sent 3 of these to Israel. Now, just wait. Those are the slower ones, and then that big one. Yeah, supersonic. Yeah, very fast. 13,000 miles per hour. It's like, wow. I could be wrong. It might have been Tel Aviv. But anyways, this is a game changer. Just watch. There it goes. Zoom. Wow. Now, as for the radiation warning, a critical radiation alert has been sounded after Israel's defense minister announced that the nation is poised to obliterate more than 10 nuclear targets in Iran. Israeli Katz stated that the Israeli Air Force is set to bombard very significant targets, strategic targets of the regime and infrastructure. It was supposed to be in Tehran and parts of the subterranean Fordow facility. They would need bunker busters, and I don't even think that the U.S. Bunker busters could get as deep as they need for Fordow. If they did bomb those sites, such as Esfin and Fordow, the radiation threat is considerable, they say, especially if uranium particles are breathed in or swallowed. To mitigate the hazard, specific safety measures, including the use of gas masks, respiratory protection gear, while in the facilities are imperative. Well, you gotta figure which way the wind blows. Russia has warned a strike on Iran's Bushehr nuclear plant could cause a Chernobyl-style catastrophe. I heard today, too, that Russia was going to send in Russian military personnel there and would stay until, at the end of the war? They said they could send up to 600 soldiers to that nuclear facility, Bushehr. Another thing to consider, because it seems like they want a regime change, and if they get a regime change, it'd be the Western countries that would control the oil. I've already heard, too, that China has sent 2 carriers to the Persian Gulf to monitor what's going on there. Then there's also chatter about the Caspian Sea. If the West does take over control of Iran, that would probably threaten Russia because, see how they're also dependent on the Caspian Sea for trade. There was talk about a year ago, last year, about putting the former Shah's son in power there in Iran. It would just be a puppet. Now, according to the White House, they don't want a regime change, which I think is just a bunch of baloney. At a press meeting this morning there in the White House, it was said that President Donald Trump will decide whether to take military action in Iran within the next couple of weeks. According to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, she said, "I have a message directly from the president," and I quote, "based on the fact that there is a substantial change in negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks," Leavitt said at the White House press briefing. Well, they already said they're not going to negotiate. They have denied that anyone has talked to the Trump administration. Evidently, yesterday, too, Iran state television reported that a great surprise will occur, one that would be remembered for centuries. And there was no details about that, and nothing has come of fruition. Searches of the wire service, such as Agence France Presse, the Associated Press, and Reuters, found no reports about this matter. So you have to wonder, had Iranian state TV made such an announcement, news media outlets worldwide would have reported it as breaking news. Here in the U.S., evidently, power and water companies have stepped up their security. They are bracing for a possible surge of Iranian cyber attacks. I haven't found anything that says that the government is involved, so this would be up to local municipalities. So if that's the case where the government, Washington is not involved, that's something that, they're dropping the ball on if in fact we are going to start bombing Iran. I don't remember this, but back on October 7th of 2023, following attacks by the militant group Hamas, Iranian government-linked hacking group Cyber Avengers hacked into multiple U.S. water facilities that were using Israeli-made control panels. That group evidently claimed responsibility for hitting a water authority in Pennsylvania. The Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa, sorry for pronouncing that wrong, said that one of their booster stations had been hacked by an Iranian-backed cyber group. Matthew Moats, a chairman for the board of directors of the Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa, confirmed that the cyber group known as Cyber Avengers, that's got a 3 in there, took control of the station. An alarm went off as soon as the hack occurred. Moat said that the location of the station on the outskirts of the town, which monitors and regulates pressure for Raccoon and Potter Township, and stressed that there was no risk to the drinking water or water supply. So that's the latest. Like I said, there's, I believe, 3 Chinese vessels there in the Persian Gulf monitoring what's going on. Russia claiming it's going to send soldiers to the Bushehr nuclear facility. Yeah, and this whole thing with the Caspian Sea. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. I hear reports of people constantly having to resubscribe. As always, be prepared for any type of disaster. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.